Hi, it's Lynn Pierce. It's Saturday morning, and we are here live from the Office Restaurant in Cabo San Lucas on Medano Beach. So it's a nice sunny day, and I'm getting some sun this morning. I think it's a little cool, though. I actually put jeans on just for the heck of it when I walked the dogs this morning at about 6:15. But it's going to be another gorgeous day here. People out swimming, and it's just beautiful. I love this time of year so much. So today we're going to talk about your happiness and personal growth. So I'm wondering if I sit back, if this is better. Maybe I can get where where I'm blocking the sun from hitting me in the face with this umbrella pole here. So your happiness and personal growth, I think they go hand in hand. And oh, by the way, before I forget, when I was posting the second video of our breast cancer. Breast cancer was the topic of the last 2 Facebook Lives that we did last week and the Saturday before. And when I was posting the second video this week on the article, I added a little more to it. And there are so many resources there that are good for not just breast cancer, not just cancer, any kind of illness, and also just things that are important to know if you want to have an ageless body so you can have an ageless life. So many of the things that we do in an emergency for an illness like that are things that really should be a part of our life in the first place. So that's probably the biggest thing. Switching these around. I'm not even sure if talking into this actually makes a difference or not, but I'm hoping that it makes it easier for you to hear me with the music in the background and then people talking and things. But so I would encourage you to go back and watch those videos, look at the resources that are there, and start implementing those things into your life because they're important. And if implementing those things now stops just one person from getting sick with any kind of illness, or helps you have a happier, healthier life, then it's definitely worth it. So, don't discount it just because, I don't have breast cancer, I don't need to look at this, because you really do. So, we have some water here, and then we'll talk about your happiness. So, when you think in terms of happiness, most people are happy temporarily. You're happy in the moment. You have a fun weekend, so you're happy while you're doing it. You're happy on Monday while you're looking back at the great weekend that you had, and that's how you look at happiness. But happiness should be a permanent state of being. It should be a part of who you are, or not that it should be. It can be. I think it should be, but it can be a part of who you are. So there are I think, easy things that you can do to increase your happiness all the time. And part of it comes from the fact that you need to be living in the present moment. And it's really having a life that's built on joy and peace and passion. And when you're in that place of constantly feeling joy and having peace in your heart and living your life from a place of passion, then you feel happiness. And it is because to have those things, you have to be in the present moment. And it also comes from doing the work that makes your heart sing. And that fulfills you. So all of those things just kind of make a complete circle. And that's pretty much the definition, really, of having an ageless life in business, is being healthy, having a passion that drives you, building a business that facilitates the lifestyle that you want to have, that incorporates the passion that you have. And that's what life is all about. So let's see. I made some notes here this morning, if I could only read them. That most of the time we base our decisions on the past. And we look at our past experiences, even if it was 3 seconds ago, we look at our past experiences, and that's what we base our decisions on. That's really what we base our goals on also, even though we think we're basing them on the future. All of our decision making comes from our past experience. So we're not in the present moment then. And then when we look at being happy, most of the time we look at happiness as something that's going to happen in the future. I'll be happy when this happens. I'll be happy when I have this. I'll be happy when I can do this. I'll be happy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I get divorced. I'll be happy when I have kids. I'll be happy when the kids are gone. It's always I'll be happy when something outside happens, rather than just making a decision that I will be happy. And that's really what it comes down to, is making that decision. But then you have to live your life in a way that facilitates that, and being in the present moment is a big part of that. But then how do you do that? Well, happiness is an inside job. It's something that comes from inside you. It's a decision that you make, and when you're present, you're aware of your thoughts and your feelings on a constant flowing basis, so that you can choose positive thoughts. And when a not so good feeling comes up, you can turn it around and reframe whatever situation or whatever thoughts that you have, because all your feelings come from your thoughts about a situation, not the situation itself. So you can turn that around and have positive feelings instead of those negative feelings. Hi, Debbie Cabrera and Mike Jones, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us this morning. So when you're in that place of concentrating on the positive thoughts, the positive feelings, then that creates a calm centeredness inside you. And when you feel aligned within yourself, you're aware of that joy in the present moments. Now, personally, I think that it's huge to have some kind of spiritual practice in the morning that starts your morning. I think that is the grounding for being in the present moment, for being happy, for feeling joy, for having a sense of peace, for being passionate about life and about your business. All starts with how you start your day. So whether that's prayer, meditation, yoga, spiritual reading, journaling, whatever that is for you, then that's the way that you set the tone for your day. So that's a huge step that you can take to be happier all the time. Let's see, what else did I write down? Okay. Oh, when you live your passion by making it your focus, You live a life and build a business that has passion, purpose, and energy infused with your commitment and conviction. That is huge. That's what I've spent the last 17 years doing, is living a life that's filled with passion and purpose. And when you build a life and build a business that comes from your joy and happiness, your passion, then you have that commitment and you have that conviction that shows up as excitement, that people can feel that you really believe what you're saying, that you really mean what you're saying. Sometimes I'm a very reserved person, so what feels like to me going over the top and getting on a soapbox probably doesn't to other people. But to me, it feels like sometimes I restrain myself because I get so passionate about a topic that I feel like I'm reaching through the screen and grabbing somebody by the collar and saying, you need to listen, you need to do this, you need to change these things so you can be happy and healthy. But inside, when we're congruent within ourselves and in alignment and doing what we're here to do with our lives, that's how it feels. It feels like you just want to go from table to table and talk to everybody and let them know the things that they could be doing to have an ageless life and business. So if you're not feeling that way about your life, if you're not feeling that way about your business, then there's a disconnect somewhere. And that's where the personal growth side of it comes in, because when you're living your life this way, you're in alignment with your soul's purpose, and it fulfills you, and you just naturally have more joy and happiness. So the question really is, how do you get there? How do you make all these things happen in your life besides being more positive and having a spiritual practice, living in the present moment, being more aware? Those all sound great, but how do you do it? That's the big question. And because I've been doing this as a business, and because those are the first questions that people started asking me, even before I started creating products, just when I was on my way of learning how to be an entrepreneur and an information marketer, before I had even thought at all about, let me see this light here, before I had thought at all about what it was that I wanted to do, people were asking me these questions because they could see that I was living from a place of joy and peace and happiness. Remember, this was, when I started on this path, it was a year or so after the breast cancer. And I had made a commitment to myself then that I wanted to stay in that place of gratitude, stay in that place of peace and joy that I had gotten from all the practices I had put in place with the breast cancer. So that was still coming from me. At the time when I started on this path, even though I had never taught anything or hadn't created any products at the time, so the things that I've created have all been in service of helping people to have that growth within themselves, to have that peace and joy and happiness that comes from living a life of purpose and passion. So I would say, like I always do every week, the first step is to create your personal manifesto. Have those value statements that define who you are as a person and who you want to grow into being. So it's core principles, but they're core principles that also include the evolved you. So that's the first step. Then, Ageless Lifestyle Guide to Goal Setting and Achieving. is the next important step for you to take, because you want to set goals that are based on the values that you created or that you uncovered, the things that are most important to you in the world, those value statements that you created with your personal manifesto. So that naturally flows from the manifesto into the goals program. And right now with the goals program, one of the bonuses that you get when you purchase the goals program is the manifesto. That's a report that walks you through how to create your manifesto, gives you samples of statements, talks to you about why it's important, how to do it, how to create yours, how to figure out what they are. So I really, in that, take you step by step, by the hand, helping you to create your personal manifesto. And then you roll that right into creating the goals and the plan for achieving your goals. And that also is as close to hand-holding as it can be in a written product, walking you step by step as if you and I were sitting at a table doing the work together. So all the support documents are there for you to do your tracking, make sure the goals you're setting are the goals that you really want. I think that's the biggest reason people don't achieve their goals. And there's also a couple other bonuses that are included in that program to help you stay on track. But the other part of it is classic personal growth books. And this morning, I brought some of my favorite personal growth books. I have a bag of them here. I think I've mentioned a few times that at the beginning of the year, part of my spiritual practice is reading. And so I have my spiritual reading, I have my meditation, journaling, and then I also read, depending if it's a short book or short chapters, a chapter a day or like 10 pages a day in one of these classic personal growth books. These books were all purchased after I took a course for realtors in 1978 that was supposed to be on time management. I don't remember any of the time management stuff, but it started me on the serious path of personal growth. I started reading psychology books in high school, but this is what really helped me take off. And there were a series of books that were recommended in that course, and then there were other books that I added myself. But the first one, and I know this is backwards when it's on video, but this is The Magic of Believing. All these books are so worn out. Nothing on this at all from being in the sun, I'm guessing. But, you know, I highlight, I think there's every color of pen in here, where I have green, I have red, I have yellow. This is the original copy of this book. I got a second copy because I had highlighted in so many different ways here that I just got another book so that would be easier. But this is my first one, The Magic of Believing. This book, to me, is the one I go back to all the time. More than Think and Grow Rich is The Magic of Believing. That was an eye-opener for me. One book that gets overlooked a lot in favor of the magic or Think and Grow Rich is Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. I don't know if you can see this. So this one, again, you can see it's well worn. The first section of the book just comes out because it's so old. And I read these books over and over and over again, and there is so much gold in these books. And then, of course, there's Think and Grow Rich, and this is the classic that everybody recommends. And this one, you can't read this enough times. Well, all of these actually. There isn't one of these books that I reread on an annual basis. Hi, Kim. Thanks for coming. That I read on an annual basis that I don't get something new out of every time. I can't see my screen because of the sun, so I'm hoping you can see the book. This is a book that just keeps on giving, and your understanding of what the treasure is in this book increases every time you read it. Because if you keep, that's another thing, if you keep cycling through these classics and then at the same time keep reading other things, personal growth books, business books, just the growth you have from your life experience, you will be a different person every single time you read these books. So every time you do, you'll be coming into it with a different lens. So don't ever think you can read, especially these kind of books, that you can read them once and go, oh, got it, I'm good. This one, Miracle Power for Infinite Riches. I'm not sure that some of these books might even be out of print. I didn't look, but I have a few books by Joseph Murphy. He writes great books. This one was listed as parapsychology, which I thought was really interesting when I looked at the back. And a lot of these older books have like the table of contents and things on the back of the book. Some of these books go back to the 40s. So they're all like somewhere between, I think, the 40s and the 70s. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind is another Joseph Murphy book. And so many of these books have action steps in them. It's really an amazing collection. The interesting thing for me is in all the years that I've been reading Psycho-Cybernetics, there are times when I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't think I need to read this book anymore, and because of whatever space I was in my life. And this year when I saw it coming up next on my shelf, I thought, oh, do I really want to read that? You know, I'm not sure. This year when I read this, I swear I got more out of this book this time than I ever have before. And I'm like, wow, how come I never saw any of this stuff when I read it before? And it just goes to show you that, what is it, 78, 88, 98, 2008, 2000, almost 40, oh my God, almost, okay, that's shocking. Almost 40 years later, I can pick up a book and really feel like there's things in it that I don't remember ever seeing before. This one is huge. I'm reading this now, 3 Magic Words by U.S. Anderson. And the whole time I'm reading this, I keep remembering, I think I was 24 or 25 when I got around to reading this book. So I bought all these books, but I didn't necessarily read them like one after another. And so it would have been like 1981, 25 years old, when I read this book when I was selling condos in Florida. And the other thing is, from reading all these personal growth books, I was not only number one working where I was at 25, beating out all these older guys that had been in real estate forever, but I was number one in the company out of all their developments, and I credit it to these books that I was reading, that I was so tuned in with using my subconscious and programming it to get what I wanted, focused on exactly the result that I wanted and how I was setting my goals and everything. It was like magic. And when I read this book, by the time I got to the end of this one, it was so enlightening for me that I just wanted to run out and scream from the rooftops what I had discovered in this book. And so this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is about the first half of my classic books. And they start from general personal growth kind of stuff, businessy kind of stuff, and with positive mental attitude, and well, several of them actually talk about using it in your business. And then from here, it progresses more into the deeper spiritual and metaphysical aspects of using your subconscious mind. But don't just read a book once, and look at the classics. Go back and take those books off your shelf. Or if you don't even know what the classics are, I have a list that I've used in courses that I've taught before, that I've given to people, so I can find that list. If anybody wants it, message me or email me, or however it is that you and I are connected, and I will get you that list, because whatever it is in your life, a problem in your life, a problem in your business, which is a problem in your life, whatever you're going through, whatever you're trying to figure out, whatever you're looking for answers to, your subconscious already has all those answers. You just have to learn how to ask the right questions. If you want personal help with all of this, I'm here. Like I said, I've been studying this for more than 40 years now. And it really reminds me of how old I am. But the other thing is, I've been doing this in my business since 2001. And I have taken so many people through the process of discovering their passion, their life purpose, and how to create their business from the blueprint they create for having an ageless life. So if you need personal help, I'm here. We can connect and do that. If you're looking for courses, I'm getting all my old things redone and recovered and reformatted as quickly as I can to get them back out there so that you can have access to them. And right now you can get the Goals program, which comes with the personal manifesto. The Ageless Body ebook is available. That's only $7. But these kind of books are so important. This particular group of books takes you through a step-by-step progression. The other thing is, if you read a book that you're not ready for the information, then you won't get it. It's like the first time I read Think and Grow Rich, which I think was in 1978, I went back to the people that I knew that were taking this course, and I'm like, I don't know what everybody's so excited about. What's the big deal about this book? And I remember this man saying to me, well, you're just not ready for it. You're not there yet. That's why you don't understand it. And I was so insulted that, because I thought he was saying I wasn't smart enough to get it. And that book sat on my shelf until 1981. So from 1978, when I read it the first time, 1981, I literally can still picture in my mind sitting on the sofa in my house in Florida. It was at night, looking across the room at my bookshelf and seeing it and saying, you know what, I'm going to give this another shot. And I picked it up, and it was a revelation. So it was the work that I had done in those years in between that allowed me to see what was really there. And as I said, these books just keep unfolding and unfolding year after year. So if you want the list, let me know. I'll send it to you. Get the Goals program with the bonuses that are on there. You can get that at agelesslifestyleafter50.com. There's a picture of the cover in the right-hand column where you can click on that, and it will take you there to get that. And if there's ever anything that you guys have questions about or topics that you would like to cover in these Saturday mornings, just let me know, and we could talk about whatever you want to talk about. So this is Lynn Pierce from the office in Cabo San Lucas. Thanks so much for being with us today, and I will see you here again next Saturday. Bye for now.